welcome to Club Fuck It Bucket, the place where doers throw their fears of risk and failure in the trash in their fuck it bucket and just do the thing. I am so excited. I'm like truncating this introduction this morning because I have my sister in chaos here today, and I am so excited. I cannot wait for us to get together. So Lauren Lefkowitz, if you know her on LinkedIn, you love her. And if you don't know her, then you should, is coming today to tell us about life in the fast lane when you have an interesting relationship with gravity, which I do as well. So Lauren, come on out. I'm so excited to have you here. Hi.
I'm so excited.
Oh my God. Okay. So first of all, Lauren and I, we talk in LinkedIn DMs all the time, like deep, heavy, personal stuff about us. We know so much about each other, but this is the first time that we have ever been on anything together. Like, this is our first time that we've met, which is just crazy.
It's so weird.
Because the shit that you know about me is terrifying.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay, so everybody, we're so excited that you're joining us. Please throw a comment in the comments section. Let us know that you're here. Ask questions. Cheer us on, because we are going to lay out what it looks like to live in a world where everything is out to get us. But Lauren is going to tell us a story about how, in fact, the world did attack her, and then how she bounced back and what happened afterwards. So, Lauren, thank you for joining us. I'm so happy to have you here. I'm so glad to meet you.
I'm so happy to be here. I feel like we've broken through some like weird barrier we didn't even know was there.
I know. It's true.
Amazing.
And guess what, y'all? We're going to get together hopefully later this month with other people in the DC kind of metro area, maybe in Alexandria. So if you are, hey, Robin, that's so exciting. I connect us to Facebook, so I get like Facebook friends too, which is awesome. So if you are in the DC Baltimore area and you want to come do a happy hour with us and Andrew Barber and a few other people, then let me know, like slide into our DMs, because we're planning it hopefully for later this month or early next. So Lauren, tell us about your adventures with housekeeping.
So I'm an uncoordinated person. That is like sort of the preface to everything. I never could play any sports. I fell off my bike when I was 8, busted my face, and I was like, oh, bikes are not for me. And so I've grown up being like really careful about sort of everything so that I don't like break anything, mess anything up. And early on in my life, I became a perfectionist in all things. And I had built this like life for myself that was like very chaotic, working all the time, people pleasing, perfectionist driving, etc. And I had this like pinnacle day where I was finishing the last project I cared about at work. And I was like, then I'm going to find a new job. Now I was like a workaholic. So finding a new job wasn't actually the answer, because wherever I went, like I came with me. And so I was going to be a workaholic wherever I was. But in my mind, I was like, I'm finishing this project. I'm setting up the last meeting for it. We were all working from home that day because it was a snow day. This is pre-pandemic when we all started working from home. But I had just also like cleared out my apartment, made everything like my underwear was color coordinated, like everything was in its right spot. And so it was sort of like, this was the day when I was going to finish everything, clean slate myself, start working 40 hours a week instead of 80 hours a week, figure out what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, find the love of my life, right? Like this was like the imaginary day where everything was going to change.
This is like when I go buy a new notebook or planner, and I assume that as soon as I get it home and use my brand new pen on it, that I'm going to become an organized, like all my shit is going to come together and I will not be a hot mess. But I haven't found the right notebook yet. You just had color coordinating underwear.
It's like if we do all the doing, then everything's going to work out exactly the way we want it to. Yeah. So my last thing to do was run my Roomba vacuum to get the rest of the vacuuming, all the corners, all of the baseboards cleared. And I'm sitting on my couch doing my work, sending the last email to schedule the launch for my employees to get their new retirement plan. I'm like, this is so great. Everything's going so well. And the last thing that I had by the door was a glass lamp that needed to be donated. And I saw the Roomba vacuum going for the cord, the unplugged cord of this glass lamp, which was on a table. And I sort of pictured a big shattering mess, which doesn't feel perfect. So I jump up the couch, run to catch the Roomba so it doesn't hit the lamp cord, slide on the wood floor in my socks, launch forward, reach my arms out to catch a table that I'm not nearly close enough to reach, and
go get the arms.
I know, fall forward with my arms over my head. I did hit my head on the table though. So I kept sliding, and I was close enough to the table to eventually hit my head. So I like sit up in a daze. I'm like, that was weird. Oh, my arms are on fire. What do I do? I'm not sure how I sat up, but then I went to stand and I was like, oh, my arms don't work. That's weird.
They're not going to do that anymore.
Right. So I'm over on one side and my phone is on the couch on the other side. So I scoot over on my butt to get to the couch. I have a sheet on the couch for my dog. And so I'm like, I don't know if you were a Brady Bunch watcher, but there was an episode where they were in a jail in a ghost town and they had to like together purses and belts and like get to the key to escape the jail. That's what it felt like. I was like inching this thing down and I was like, please fall into my hands. Please fall into my hands.
Please, right.
It did. It was like, that was a magical moment. I phoned a friend and we called an ambulance. The ambulance came and they were like, we don't know how to lift you up because the way we usually lift people up is under their arms. And I was like, you cannot touch my arms. So they scoot me onto like a sheet to try to lift me up that way. And of course the sheet comes around my arms. I'm like, you can't do that. So the fire department came and they like deadlifted me from a seated position and put me on a stretcher.
Hey, you finally got to be a cheerleader, right? They're like,
and I went to the hospital and I'm always like this kind of calm. So I don't think I appeared to be in so much pain. And this like very sweet physician's assistant condescendingly said, like, it's very unusual for someone to, tear their arm, their muscles or break their arms. Right. And she sent me for x-rays and she came back with this face. You broke both of your shoulders. So you can imagine the first thing that I did was have my friend call my boss to tell him I wouldn't be in for the rest of the week. That's how tied to workaholism I was that I was like, I got to handle work first. I didn't call my family. I didn't call any other friends. I have a friend who's a nurse practitioner who I called later in the day, but I was like, I got to tell my boss the work's not going to get done. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're sitting in the hospital. You've blown the staff's mind about what you've done. You've called work, which is obviously a very, very high priority. And in this moment, your life just changes, right? Like your life, your perspective, all of it. Was it actually like a moment, like a light bulb went off on top of your head that you were like, I just called work instead of all these people. I am so fucked up right now. Like my priorities, something has to change.
No, that was not a moment for me. There were moments while I was recovering. I spent 3 months in facilities because when you can't move your shoulders, you can't even touch your own face. You can't take your own pants off. So I was completely unable to care for myself. And so I stayed in 2 different nursing home rehab centers. And then I had another month of home health care where like I could lightly feed myself and take care of myself, but I needed shower supervision and physical therapy and all that kind of stuff. And the very first moment when I had like an aha moment was when one of my friends said to me like, oh, look, you literally can't be a hand raiser anymore. Right? Like the universe
I'm a hand raiser too.
You on the ground. And you can't raise your hand anymore.
Yeah.
And laughed. And then I self-nicknamed me T-Rex arms because I could only use the bottom half of my arms. And I really mostly didn't work during that time. There were a couple of times when they called and they were like, we legitimately don't know what to do. And we need you to just like verbally tell us what to do. And that was okay. But they were really kind to me at work. And when I was getting ready to go back, that I had a moment where I said, like, I'm not going to do things this way anymore. It's going to be different. I'm going to get some balance. I'm going to figure out like what I want to be when I grow up. This isn't it. I'm like so busy all the time. I was the interim vice president of every job at one point or another in the organization. And I just kept taking on more because I wanted to feel fulfilled and I wasn't. And so I went back to work with this goal, I guess, which actually was really just a wish because there was no plan to work 40 hours a week. There was a lot of work to do. And there was like
right, because you have been gone for 3 months and like,
and they had been so kind to me to let me be off for 3 months and then transition back really slowly. So I wanted to repay the kindness that nobody was asking me to repay.
Like, how crazy is that you thought you were like, you're like, oh my gosh, it was so nice of them to make accommodations for the fact that I couldn't move my fucking arms or go to the bathroom myself or put on my own pants or feed myself. I probably need to do like way more to make up for their sacrifice.
Yes, that's exactly right, April. That's exactly what I needed to do.
I mean, I live that world, right? I'm totally there with you. But it's crazy. That's not right.
Yeah. So my fuck it moment was actually like a whole year later, after the accident, pandemic had started. I was interim managing the finance department. I had taken over our project to construct our new office building space. It was like a $1 million construction project. I was managing our meetings department, which had always been my job, even though that doesn't make sense for an HR professional. And, little projects here and there. And then the pandemic started and they turned around to me and said, like, what do we do? And it wasn't from a helpless perspective. It was like HR was getting all of the information and I was HR. And my first thought was, I don't fucking know.
Right.
Don't ask me. And I did it, right? I did what I was supposed to do, but I was like, I can't live like this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually started thinking about, I'd been coaching for years on the side and in my position, and I'd been thinking about getting a coaching certification, which I'd never pursued. And I called a friend who had the certification to get the logistics. How do we do this? What are the steps? How expensive is it? How long is it going to take me? How can I keep impacting people? And during our conversation, I said to her, I work 80 to 100 hours a week. That's not going to change. And she said, if you say so.
Right. Is this Katie? Is this Katie?
No, this was Selena, who was my first coach. Yeah. And she said, if you say so. And I was like, how dare you?
You don't know.
I don't have control over my hours. I don't have control over my job. This is what I do. Yes, Chris, 80 to 100 hours.
80 to 100.
Totally possible. You have to work every day and you have to like generally be working 15-hour days, but you can do it. I can teach you how. I don't want to. And it was like, that was the biggest aha moment, was that I realized I was making the decision, that I had created this life and I was the only one who could untangle it. And then I got scared and I was like, I don't know how to do any of that. So I hired her as my coach. Even though I called her, like getting the certification. I was like,
you're a fucking idiot. You don't know anything about me. And also, can I hire you to change me?
Right. You don't know me. Oh, but how do we do that?
Yeah, but can you help create me, the new me? Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's amazing. Yada, yada, yada. Here I am a couple of years later, running my own business. I'll never work in corporate again. I barely work 35, 40 hours a week. And it wasn't fast and it wasn't easy. And I backslid a lot. I still do. Like there is no perfect, which is like super disappointing for perfectionists to learn.
Right.
So disappointing.
Like, yeah. Why do they even let you have the job of perfectionist if you can't actually be one?
I know.
Seems like a really poor career choice. I have ADHD, so perfection is the enemy of me because I can go into procrastination mode, right? Like ADHD says to me, procrastinate until you can do it perfectly. Mm-hmm. So I've had to learn, this is actually part of where the Fuck It Bucket came from, was for me to just be like, I can't do it perfectly. I can't do it all the way. It has to be good enough. Everything from parenting to work, I just have to get started. Mm-hmm. But that was really, really hard for me because I could come up with all the reasons why I'd be horrible and also all the reasons why I would fail. And so probably I shouldn't do any of them. I'll just wait till I'm a better person.
Right. Till everything else is fixed.
Right.
So a couple of things I've learned are that one, I don't have ADHD, but I have about half of the ADD tendencies. Mm-hmm. And for me, they come from anxiety. And I work on it. I have a coach, I have a therapist. I'm always doing the work, which is really important for me. But I also tend to be a procrastinator, which is why I started my procrastination power hour. But for the same reason that like, I want to be totally ready. I want it to be perfect. I don't want to have any questions when I'm doing it. I don't want to feel like a beginner. I don't want to look like a beginner. And the truth is when I get willing to do all of that stuff, I actually it works, which makes me so mad. Like it makes me so mad that like actually being willing to be a beginner, actually being willing to ask for help, to find an accountability partner, to like do the work, to get ready to do the work. Like that's how you do it. That's the right way.
So do you think that spending 3 months not being able to do things for yourself and having to ask for help for like the most personal, intimate type of things, do you think that influences your ability today to ask for help or to say no to things? Or like, do you think you just had to practice for 3 months?
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, imagine literally you're like a walking bowling pin, right? Mm-hmm. Like you can get to places, but then your arms, only the bottom half of your arms work. So I had my phone in my hand at all times. I slept with it. I had my glasses on at all times because I can't see without them and I couldn't take them off from them on myself. So I slept in them. Right. And I needed help for all the most basic things. Right. There wasn't a choice. So it was like the universe was saying to me, like, people are willing to help you. You have to ask. They're not going to come in and say, do you need to use the bathroom now? You have to press the button and say, like, I need you to take me to the bathroom now, please. Right.
And now that's translated into business for you to be able to proactively
so much so, and to really help my clients. You know, I mean, I've been coaching for years and years, and asking for help wasn't really in my coaching process. It was empowering to people to do things for themselves and to stand for themselves. And now I've really incorporated it in, like, asking for help. Like, who are your people? Who are your resources? What can you ask them for? How honored are you? And if they don't comes to ask you for help, right? Like,
and if they don't listen and they don't ask for help, do you just break both of their shoulders so that they can?
Yes, it's part of
how to do it. Yeah. Okay. Oh, do you have to pay extra for that or no?
Well, you know, it depends on your insurance because some surgeons are, you know, take insurance and some don't. But I have a great surgeon who put back together one of my arms that I can refer people to. But yes,
Godfather style coaching. Okay, so yeah, because we've got to wrap up, but I have a couple of questions for you. First of all, is you spent so long asking for help. Do you remember the first food that you fed to yourself by yourself after your accident?
Yes, in the rehab center, I scrambled eggs with a spoon with my right hand. I'm left-handed. With my right hand, that was the first hand I was allowed to use. And I took my first bite and the guy at the table next to me vomited. And I was like, well, I'm done. But I can do it. We're good.
We're good. I did it once. I don't have to do it again for a really long time. That's so gross. Do you see Andrew is like, I'm totally worried about like the Godfather style coaching now. He's like, oh, I'm not going to do the in-person get together. Okay. So as we wrap up, tell everyone, because you've mentioned a couple of things, right? So you are a coach. You
Yes.
also do a power hour for procrastinators every week. Where and when is that? Where can they find that?
Yeah.
Do you have to
Awesome.
get a special invitation? Is it invitation only?
No, you can just come. It's a membership program. So we do 2 hours a week, Tuesday at 3 Eastern and Thursday at 11 Eastern. It's an hour to just like do focused work with accountability, with community. And we all hop on Zoom. We spend 5 minutes setting our intentions for the hour. We work for 50 minutes, and then we come back and we celebrate what we've accomplished, or, say we didn't get it all done. We put too much on our plate, but we round it out. And so you can go to my profile. In the featured section is the sign up stuff. And I post about it once or twice a week right now because it's new. We just started. But it's awesome. It's totally fun. I also work with individual clients and smaller corporate clients, mostly workaholics and perfectionists who want to find a better way to do it. And for some people, it's staying where they are, but learning to set boundaries and be a leader.
So why are you on LinkedIn? Because LinkedIn doesn't have a lot of workaholics.
No, LinkedIn's full of just like people who hang out and
perfect people. Yeah.
Oh, and I have a podcast.
Oh, okay. Tell us about that.
I have a podcast with John Spears, who's also an executive coach. It's called I Could Talk to You All Day. And we talk about leadership from a very like real, vulnerable, we're human too perspective. And you can find us on all the platforms. I Could Talk to You All Day.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you aren't connected with Lauren, you should follow her or request a connection on LinkedIn.
Totally check out the connect.
Yeah. Check out her podcast. If you are a perfectionist procrastinator and want to join the group, then DM her for details on that. Lauren, I'm so glad we got to meet. I can't wait to meet you in real life. It's going to be amazing. We're going to have to wrap ourselves in bubble wrap or like one of those, those like big balls that they put around people that they like run.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really want to do that because I feel like that could be a really unique way to get hurt.
Yeah. I don't need unique items around me. It's everyday items can really destroy me. So maybe you need some special items for destruction, but like, I mean, you could just like put a broom near me and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, that's everyday life is really dangerous for me. When probably the reason why I like to do adventuresome things that most people think are stupid is that's probably the safest that I am at any given time, right? Like if you put me in a squirrel suit and shoved me off of a mountain, I would land without a scratch. But if you asked me to carry a laundry basket down the stairs, I might fall and break my tailbone, right? Like that's just the way that it works. So
I will hold your stuff while you do adventurous things if you need.
Okay,
if you need somebody to hold your stuff, I'm great at that.
Well, I'm from Oklahoma, so we're really good at being like, hold my beer. Hey y'all, watch this.
You got it.
Yeah, I'm very good at that. Thank you so much for joining us. I love you. I love your sunshiny vibe, everything about you. Everybody connect with Lauren, hire her because she's fucking brilliant and amazing. And she was the pot calling the kettle black. And now she's showing you how to be, I don't even know where to go with that analogy. I'm not even,
that find the life you actually want. Yeah. That's what it is. Stop sitting stop sitting where you are and just figure out what you want to be when you grow up. And I can help you do that.
I love that. I love that. All right, everybody, we will see you next Wednesday with another episode of Club Fuck It Bucket.